Put me in, coach. I'm ready for the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. A podcast that proudly flies the flag every day. Once again, Medicare experts agree he is Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. My Canadian nephew, Drew McMillan, may have told you who I am, but just in case he didn't show up today, I will reiterate. My name is Doug Jones. I'm your Medicare expert, or maybe your Medicare specialist, and I'm here to help you feel really confident about your entry into the world of Medicare and how easy and simple it can be to make the right decisions, how easy and simple it can be to avoid the wrong decisions, and how, when the process has been completed, you will sit back and take a big sigh of relief and say, wow, that was fairly painless thanks to Uncle Doug. Nobody ever calls me Uncle Doug, but you may if you wish. Anyway, that's my point. That's what I'm here for, and the way I can express the factual information that you're going to want to understand is to encourage you to go to Amazon.com and purchase my book. My book is Medicare for the Lazy Man 2026. That's the current edition. So if you go to Amazon.com and type into the search window Medicare for the Lazy Man 2026, you're going to wind up with the most current edition of my book. And you can have it in various forms that may cost less than you might even expect. The paperback version costs $11 this year. The Kindle version, I believe, is $5. And I think the Audible version, if you wanted to have somebody read it to you, I don't know who that somebody might be, they have dulcet tones and they're almost a professional voice artist. And that, I believe, is a $6.50 item or thereabouts. And then, of course, if you are a smarty pants show off and you want to tell everybody in the world how successful you are, I would suggest purchasing the $25 hardcover version of Medicare for the Lazy Man. And I would encourage you then to use the book. It takes a couple of hours to read, maybe, and then you might want to keep it around for a while during your enrollment to do a little research or reread to review a couple of parts here and there, make sure the details are clearly understood. And then you might be through with the book for the rest of your life. And if you feel that way, I would suggest donating it to a local library, because there are people out there who go to the library for all of their research efforts, and you know they're Luddites maybe, but what I would suggest is that you share the wealth by donating the hardcover copy that you paid $25 for, and then maybe tell the IRS, oh boy, that was a donation of somewhere in the neighborhood of, and then add a couple of zeros to it and see what you can get away with. Now, there are a couple of other books in my repertoire that I would encourage you to think about. One of them is Medicare Drug Plans, a simple DIY guide. That's also available at Amazon. It's a fairly inexpensive book by comparison, but it teaches one how to use the government site to select and enroll in the best drug plan available in your area. The way this happens is that the drug plans are separate. They operate in separate areas all over. I think there are 34 separate areas of all over the United States. And so if you go to the government website, which is medicare.gov/plan-compare, you are entering a realm of selection of the proper drug plan, and your selection criteria would be the location of your residence, the names of the drugs that you take, dosages and so forth, and the pharmacies that you prefer to patronize. And if you plug all of that information into the government website, you're going to find a list of all available drug plans in order of cost from the lowest to the highest. And your goal is to find the lowest cost drug plan that will accommodate your drugs at your preferred pharmacies in the area where you live for the lowest possible price. And that's what I do for you, but there are very few people out there who will do it in an honest and above board manner. So I wrote that book in an effort to help people understand the process and to help people use the government website effectively. And you will need that every year. I just don't have the time. Nobody has the time to do drug plans for free. There is a wonderful service that's available that I will share with anybody. It's a $30 a year service, and the first time you use them, you get a small discount by contacting me, and I will give you a link to their site. And that very modest subscription fee will take care of your drug needs in a way that I can't even meet. My book is great, but it's not as great as all the information they've put together. So keep that in mind. If you've got a very challenging drug regimen, I can certainly offer a subscription service that will help you get the best prices available in your area for a drug plan. And finally, the newest and shortest and most powerful Medicare book I'm aware of is the one I wrote most recently entitled Medicare Enrollment Guide. And so that book is available on Amazon. It's like $5. They forced me to charge money for it, even though I wanted to give it away free. They will not allow that on Amazon. So what I have suggested, even though it's Amazon available, what you should do is go to my website that Randy Carson created out of whole cloth and is a magnificent place to go for Medicare information and a few yucks. If you like yucks, that would be medicareforthelazyman.com. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to find a link to the Medicare Enrollment Guide, and that book will be available to you to download free of charge. No charge whatsoever. You don't even have to tell us who you are or put your email address in to join the mailing list. If you scroll down a little bit more, we'd love to have you join the mailing list. That would be an ideal situation. But in order to get the Medicare Enrollment Guide, I tried to make it as easy as possible for everyone in the United States to get a copy of that book. It's short, it's sweet, it's very goal-oriented. In other words, it will teach you what you need to know to enroll in Medicare and to deal with your licensed insurance agent for the purpose of buying a Medicare supplement plan. And then it will, allude to the process for enrolling in a drug plan. But again, it's just a short and solid tutorial in the actual enrollment process. And I think it'll be very helpful for many, many people that are enrolling in Medicare, especially if they've already made up their mind that my recommendations are the ones to follow. Now, speaking of following, there's a guy I like to follow called Randy Carson. He happens to have joined us here. He's sitting in front of a Scottish castle that I guess became a bed and breakfast. Would that be an accurate statement?
Well, yes, kind of. I forgot to tell you, did you see my expense report come in last week?
The one that was multi-page, very thick and had a lot of numbers and a lot of zeros.
Yeah,
after those
it
numbers.
actually came in a 3-ring binder, but
Yeah, there are some things up with which I cannot put.
So what you're looking at that right behind me there, Doug, is a Scottish castle that we now own as Medicare for the Lazy Man.com owns it, and I just thought I'd put it in my background to let you know how we're doing financially in Scotland.
I should be really impressed with our real estate holdings, but every time I open the bank account, I see a bunch of negative numbers, and it's kind of scary sometimes. I don't know how to translate this stuff into actual revenue That would be my goal.
Well, call me. I'll let you know. Call me up, and I'll give you a pointer on how we ended up owning this castle in Scotland.
Well, I'll be
Uh,
looking forward to that. I mean, between the all the other stuff we own,
well, we've got yachts. We've got
yeah.
houses in Florida. But what I forgot to tell you was, when you're in this castle, they give out a lot of really nice Scottish breakfasts. And
For free?
yeah,
Oh
exactly.
man, that doesn't seem like the right way to earn money from an investment.
And ladies and gentlemen, I told Doug what I love to have for breakfast when I'm over in Scotland, and he turned up his nose.
Yes, it's. I'm afraid that when I hear words like haggis, that's when I cash
Haggis.
in my airline ticket to Europe.
There's haggis. So they have this term Irish breakfast, they have this term Scottish breakfast, and they have the same term English breakfast. But basically, it's the same breakfast. It's
Do they have an
tea.
American breakfast by any chance?
No, they don't. They have American coffee,
Well,
but that's
after all
about
these
it.
soccer, after all this Euro trash has gone back home after the soccer tournaments, it may very well be that we'll start seeing some improvements in European culture, like Buc-ee's gas stations being
Okay, so
established.
Margaret was showing me that there was like thousands of people lined up at a Bucky's out here. What, like in Glendale or something?
Well,
What?
there's a new Buc-ee's in.
Why is Bucky's become so eminently popular?
I would have a tough time answering that if I hadn't stopped at Buc-ee's just outside of Springfield, Missouri, on the way back to the Chicago area, and it is a uh, playground of it's like a oh God, what would be a okay, in Illinois, the tollways had frequent stops. They were always worried about highway hypnosis when the tollways were
Oh
driving
yeah,
down the
yeah,
road.
right.
So
No,
they give
that was
you,
the last thing in the world they needed to worry about.
I know, because the goddamn speed limits are so low in Illinois that basically you're going to be talking to police officers and you're going to be hitting the brakes all the time. But they have oases. So you'd have an oasis every 30 miles in Illinois, which would not just be a potty stop, but it'd be a bunch of stores and things. And it
Yeah,
was kind
yeah.
of neat, for the 1950s. It was kind of cool to have this thing built over the road across, from one side to the other. So you could walk through the building. And so I think Bucky's is like the 21st century incarnation of what the original Oasis idea came from. And it's when you walk inside. Now I had to take the content curator inside and show her where the ladies' room was.
Yeah.
We had to walk through crowds of people. We had salespeople behind counters that were wishing us a wonderful day and trying to get us to come over and look at their wares. And it seems like there was music going on and just all kinds of noise and celebration and party time happening. It was too much for one pair of eyes to take in. It was incredible.
Oh my gosh. I know Margaret was showing me that on a picture she had like on Facebook or something. And I apparently, for the last week or 10 days, have not been up on my news because I had no idea that the world was now the owner, especially in Glendale, Arizona, of a brand spanking new Bucky's. And I mean, there was a Bucky's before, wasn't there?
I'm not aware of one. I've always wanted to go to a Bucky's. I've seen the signs along the road, but I've never actually had the opportunity. I think there's one outside of Amarillo, but it's not near the road, and so it wasn't convenient to stop at. This one in Springfield, Missouri, is right at an exit, so it was very convenient and very large and very impressive, and just it makes gasoline burning fun. It makes you
Yes,
hope you need more gas. But this Bucky's in wherever Glendale is it?
Glendale, yeah.
According to my neighbor Daniel Brutico, who is the Sion of the Brutico Winery in California, he tells me that that's 53 miles from our Cave Creek home, and that they're planning another couple of Bucky's installations. One might be an Anthem.
Oh, really? Cool.
So
Cool.
that would give us an
You,
opportunity. We could all get together and
we can all go to Anthem,
yeah, and
to the
visit
Bucky's.
Bucky's.
If we actually do that, some people would argue, Doug, that we need a life.
Well, absolutely correct, and that's why I don't have that on my calendar right now. But I will tell you that if I'm a European, I'm used to driving a little piece of garbage, tin, coffee can on wheels,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm used to paying $9 a gallon for gas. Probably the gas stations I'm going to are not any better than the slums in the cities that were bombed out during the war and but when you go to Buc-ee's, it's a celebration of everything American. It's excess, it's zeal, it's enthusiasm, it's party time. And apparently a lot of these soccer hooligans just love the United States of America because of things like Buc-ee's.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to catch up on all this news because I somehow got left behind.
Well, this is what I'm hearing from my podcasts that I listen to, so I'm hoping it's accurate. And these are internet uh, influencers. That's I'm trying to grab the kids' terminology here, but these influencers seem to have had very positive things to say about the United States that they've encountered after hearing nothing but negative BS about us for years from the the left leaning amongst us. All of a
Yes,
sudden,
yes.
the reality is totally different from the picture they've been handed, and I think it's a big improvement, a step forward in European American relations.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with
And
you.
something else, I never would have thought I would give any respect to the sport of soccer, but if it can expose our accomplishments to a new generation of people who haven't understood them properly until now, then I say I'm all for it.
So let me just add one more thought to that.
Please do.
I'm not disagreeing with your concept of soccer. But if you want to see a real man sport,
Oh, rugby.
go over to England and watch rugby.
Yeah,
Or if you
yeah.
want to see an absolute crazy man sport,
Uh-huh.
go to Ireland and watch hurling.
Okay, now hurling is need I need a little explanation about what hurling might be. Is it
It
throwing up?
operates.
As far as I'm concerned, it would be barfing
Well, it
and
might be,
hurled.
but that was that wasn't the concept. But anyway, here hurling. Okay, keep in mind that it kind of runs off this. Now, all the Irish people in the world will say I'm doing a very poor job of explaining this, but hurling is it's all part and parcel of the Gaelic Athletic Association, and
Uh-huh.
it's entirely Irish. It's all volunteer. There's no professional hurling team. They just do it for the love of it. They play it. It's kind of okay. Think of it kind of like rugby, except
Okay.
for they've got a big stick with steel ends on it, and they run around trying to grab this little. It's a bat. Just think of it like a baseball bat, except on the end it's flatter and wider. So they use that to whack this ball around this field, and they use it quite often on other people on the other team. So
Wow.
my friend Eamon, he said his mom was so mad at him, absolutely so mad at him because he went to the dentist and got his teeth all fixed. He went out and did, he was a hurler. He went out and came back the next day and they were all knocked out again because somebody smacked him in the mouth with a hurling stick. But
Oh
anyway,
boy.
that's a tough game.
All right. Well, for a second, I was confusing it because when I was a kid, my grandmother, who they lived, she and my grandfather lived at in the manager's apartment at the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois. Some people may know where that is. She did curling as a
Curling,
younger.
well, that's a
So
whole
that's,
different
I'm
concept.
guessing, because she never had her teeth knocked out. Her teeth were always pristine. So I'm guessing it's
No,
different than
curling's
hurling.
a whole different. Curling's a lot more gentrified sport than hurling.
Okay.
If you could go to a curling session and it's very gentrified. They actually are not. They actually do not do anything to the other team other than maybe scowl at them. But the curling is a very gentrified sport. Hurling, if you don't come home with a pocket full of the other guy's teeth, you weren't there.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'll probably be asking my AI buddy Claude for a hurling video later on that I can learn from. But even rugby, I think, is probably a little
Well,
too uncivilized for me.
rugby is a little uncivilized too because they don't. I mean, these are big men, okay?
Yes, and they have
And
scrums.
Yes, and they don't have any pads on. They don't have any helmets on. If you hear something smack together, like two cows hitting their heads on a wall, it
Oh,
was them. It wasn't their helmets.
oh boy. Well, it's nice to nice to be exposed to other cultures, but frankly, I'll just take the good old US of A where we don't have any curling, hurling, or rugby to have to contend with.
But you know the interesting part, Doug?
What's that?
Europeans look at our professional football
Uh-huh.
and they think it is more brutal and violent than anything they've ever seen.
I'm surprised to hear that because there's so much protective equipment. There's so many rules that you can't break, and every time there's a play, there's a 50-50 chance they're going to go back to the line of scrimmage and do it over again.
Yeah. And
So
then
I'm
the one,
surprised that they
go
would
ahead.
view that as a more violent sport.
Well, and then one more. They absolutely cannot understand why any human would do this. Rodeo.
Well, I can see where that might be an alien concept because it's not really a game. You get points, and there are winners in various categories. I was thinking baseball because that's a sport where there's a lot of cogitation. You got plenty
Yeah.
of time for thinking. You got a lot of time to go get a beer, in
Yeah.
between
Yeah. Yeah.
pitches.
Oh, there, I don't understand. I love to play baseball, but watching it, oh no, it's
Well,
way too many things in between time between things happening.
I would like to have a European's view of a baseball game after having watched it for a while. I mean, cricket, I have no clue about.
I don't
I'm
know
sure
what
there
they're
are
trying to
parallels.
accomplish. I have no idea what they're trying to do with cricket.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. But I'll tell you what we're trying to do. We're trying to get out some Medicare knowledge so that people
All
actually
right.
feel as though they didn't waste time listening to this
Yes.
podcast.
Well, let's do that. So, as the nominal producer who has just spent quite a chunk of money on a Scottish castle here,
Oh boy.
we're going to call it Shay Jones, and the nickname of it will be Medicare for the Lazy Man, Shay.
Ooh, that doesn't just
And
roll off the tongue, does it?
no, it does. But I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and make some money, and I'm going to mute out, and let's get going.
All right. I've got another Medicare Advantage Minute article here from my close personal friend. Well, if not close personal friend, at least my valued client, Robert, who is an attorney down in Georgia. He has sent a wealth of information about Medicare Advantage plans. This article is entitled Original Medicare versus Advantage. More retirees are switching back presumably from Medicare Advantage. They're switching back to original Medicare, and here's why. So, retirees are increasingly comparing Medicare Advantage and original Medicare as healthcare needs evolve. They're weighing costs and coverage limits and access to trusted doctors. Oh, that was supposed to be a that was supposed to be a caption on a picture. Oh boy, and it's a picture, I guess, of a bunch of people they're thinking real hard about their health insurance. However, we're going to skip down and ignore that picture, which I don't really have here, and go healthcare decisions in retirement keep getting more complicated and the stakes feel higher than ever. Many retirees once rushed into Medicare Advantage plans because of low premiums and extra perks that sounded too good to pass up. Now, a growing number of them are reversing course and returning to original Medicare. The shift reveals a deeper story about rising costs, restricted networks, and unexpected out-of-pocket surprises. This trend continues gaining momentum as retirees reassess what truly works for a long-term care stability. Many retirees originally chose Medicare Advantage because it promised convenience, bundled benefits, and attractive $0 premium options. Over time, some discover that the trade-offs do not match their expectations, especially when health needs increase. Unexpected copays and referral requirements start to feel restrictive during ongoing treatments. That frustration pushes many people to reconsider original Medicare, which offers broader access without network barriers. Retirees often report a major realization after facing repeated prior authorizations for procedures and specialist visits. These delays create stress during moments when quick care matters the most. As healthcare needs become more complex with age, Flexibility starts to outweigh flashy extras. That shift in perspective drives many back towards a more predictable structure, even if it requires supplemental coverage. Medicare Advantage plans attract attention with low monthly premiums, but out-of-pocket costs often tell a different story. Copays for hospital stays, imaging, specialist visits, all of that stuff can stack up quickly during a single health event. Many retirees discover that a budget-friendly plan becomes expensive after a few medical episodes in 1 year. That financial shock leads to renewed interest in the more standardized cost structure of Original Medicare. Original Medicare spreads costs differently, and many retirees pair it with Medigap policies. Every retiree, everybody involved in Medicare, should have a Medicare supplement to put a cap on their out-of-pocket costs. That's me talking here. It says in the article, many retirees pair it with a Medicare supplement plan. In reality, everybody on Original Medicare should also have a Medicare supplement plan for protection. The combination often delivers more predictable spending patterns, especially for those managing chronic conditions. While premiums may appear higher up front, fewer surprise bills create a sense of financial control. Retirees increasingly value that stability when planning long-term retirement income. Medicare Advantage plans rely heavily on provider networks, and those networks do not always include preferred doctors or specialists. Retirees sometimes learn this only after enrollment, when changing doctors becomes difficult or impossible without higher costs. That restriction can feel frustrating, especially for individuals with established long-term medical relationships. The result often leads to dissatisfaction and reconsideration of Original Medicare's broader access. Original Medicare allows patients to see any provider that accepts Medicare, which creates far more flexibility across states and cities. This feature becomes especially important for retirees who travel or split time between multiple locations. Access to specialists without referrals also reduces delays in treatment decisions. That freedom plays a major role in why many retirees decide to switch back after experiencing network limitations. The role of prior authorization. Prior authorization rules in Medicare Advantage plans often require approval before certain procedures, tests, or medications move forward. These requirements can slow down care and create uncertainty during urgent health situations. Retirees frequently describe frustration when treatments get delayed due to administrative processes. That friction builds over time and shapes negative perceptions of managed care plans. Original Medicare reduces many of these barriers by limiting prior authorization requirements in most cases. Patients gain quicker access to necessary services, which often improves overall satisfaction with care. Doctors also report less administrative burden when working with Original Medicare patients. That smoother process becomes a powerful reason why some retirees switch back after experiencing repeated delays. Retirement health needs rarely stay simple, and many retirees eventually face multiple chronic conditions or unexpected diagnoses. Medicare Advantage may work well for healthier individuals early in retirement, but complexity changes the equation over time. As medical needs grow, retirees begin prioritizing stability, access, and fewer administrative hurdles. That shift often leads them back to Original Medicare paired with supplemental coverage. Financial planning also plays a major role in this decision, especially when retirees reassess lifetime healthcare spending. Predictable coverage becomes more valuable than extra perks like gym memberships or vision discounts. Many retirees focus on reducing risk rather than chasing short-term savings. That mindset shift explains why the trend of switching back continues to gain attention nationwide. The growing movement back to Original Medicare highlights a simple but powerful reality about retirement healthcare choices. Flexibility, predictable costs, and broad access often matter more than bundled extras that sound appealing up front. Retirees increasingly weigh real-life medical experiences over marketing promises when making decisions. That evaluation leads many to rethink earlier choices and adjust coverage for long-term stability. So I couldn't have said it better myself, but it's the kind of thing where people that are changing their minds about Medicare choices that they made years ago are finally waking up to the fact that there is a better type of coverage. You have to pay a little bit for it. And when I say a little bit, if you come to me and say, look, I want to get out of my Medicare Advantage plan and return to original Medicare and get a Medicare supplement, then I can show you how paying a little bit instead of a lot will get you excellent coverage that will be, it'll be not only less expensive than you might think, but also will improve over time compared to the expensive plan that you might have thought about buying in the first place. So that's our Medicare Advantage Minute for today. As I say, I couldn't have explained that any better than that article did. I heard from a client of mine just last night, a guy named Mark. He and his whole family are clients of mine, and I couldn't be happier to have a whole bunch of the family covered with Medicare supplements. But I wasn't aware that Mark is an avid listener of the podcast. And so he sprang that on me in an email that I got from him last night. He says, Doug, I follow your podcast. Good stuff. You know, that would be an excellent review right there. When I ask people to go back to Amazon after buying and reading my book, all I need to hear is good stuff. And that keeps me going. I'm glad Mark has enjoyed his podcast listening and hope he continues to. Anyway, he says, if you recall, you helped me and my wife and my brother Mike and his wife with Medicare and high deductible Plan G. We are very satisfied with our choice based upon your recommendations. Thank you. Here's a question for you. I recommended high deductible Plan G to many of my friends to whom I gifted your book. What a guy, Mark. They chose Plan N. I do not recall seeing Plan N mentioned in your book. Why would they choose it? Is there a way on the podcast that you can explain the difference, please? Now, Randy Carson is right now throwing a minor fit on the other side of the screen because he chose Plan N. His highly intelligent staff and spousal unit, Margaret, selected Plan N after looking at all of the Medicare supplement plans available. Now, here's the highly intelligent thing that they did. They didn't go with Medicare Advantage. They didn't get sucked into that trap. But I would differ with Margaret's assessment of Plan N, and I think Randy is in agreement. He loves Plan N, and I have a different opinion on that. Now, what I did a couple of years ago is I wrote a little essay explaining my version, my view of Plan N. And I'm going to read that essay now for Mark, for Randy, for Margaret, and anybody else who wonders why they shouldn't go with Plan N. And I'm going to preface this by saying that insurance companies live by the premium dollars they collect. They hope to spend fewer premium dollars in paying for claims than they collect from the clients that they have, and that difference is going to be their profit for the year. So there's no reason. I mean, that's just good old American business practice. I want to sell a product. I want to get as much money as I can for it, and I want my clients to be satisfied with the product they purchase so that they come back and purchase some more or remain clients for a long period of time. Well, when Plan F was the main plan that Medicare supplements offered, Plan F was a very rich plan. It was kind of expensive, but since new healthy people kept joining Plan F all the time, it was not outrageously expensive. And then they changed the law back in 2020, and they said no more Plan F. You got to use Plan G. That's the richest plan available. Plan G pays not 100% of everything as Plan F did, but almost everything. It leaves only the Part B annual deductible, which this year $283. So if you have a lot of doctor's appointments and medical things going on that don't involve hospitalization, you're going to have a front end deductible of $283. And after that, Medicare is going to pay 80% of your expenses for the rest of the year, and your Medicare supplement will be left to deal with the other 20%. You can have Plan G that'll pay 100% of that 20% after the Part B deductible, or you can get my recommended plan, high deductible Plan G, which will not pay anything until you've paid a certain amount out of your pocket. This year, that total out-of-pocket limit would be $2,950. Whoa, you mean I have to write a check for $2,950 before I get a benefit from my health insurance? No, because Medicare is always going to pay 80%. You're only dealing with 20%. So let's say you've got $1,000 in medical expenses this year that would be paid under Part B. Well, Medicare is going to pay $800, and you are going to be left with $200. And this is all after that Part B deductible. So then you would be able to say, $200 is my obligation this year out of the total $1,000 of medical expenses. How much did I save by not buying the expensive Plan G? Well, that's what I do for my clients. I show them before they purchase what the difference in the savings would be, and whether that $200 is not really $200, but since they've saved $100 a month perhaps, that $200 really is zero out of their pocket. All right, so back to Plan N. Why does Plan N exist? Because it's a kind of a compromise. And I have referred to it in my book, I think, and perhaps in correspondence as a weak sister. There's Plan G, which is the high cost but very rich coverage that takes care of everything but that front end deductible, that $283 this year of Part B deductible. Plan G takes care of 100% of everything after that. Plan N is kind of in the middle, and then high deductible Plan G is on the low end. That is what I think is the most cost-effective plan. So what does Plan N have that Plan G doesn't have? Well, I believe it's going to have big rate increases, and I have seen evidence of that. So this is experience talking. Here is my little diatribe about Plan N. I entitled it Plan N, Facts and Opinions. Plan N, as an alternative to the more expensive Plan G, has become a very popular topic recently. Agents and companies are getting pushback from clients who are alarmed at the rate of increases that they observe with Plan G. I disagree with their advice. If you are my client and Plan N is your chosen pocket, I will do your bidding without question. After all, Plan N is not a Medicare Advantage plan, so it offers all the freedoms that I want to provide. However, in my opinion, Plan N is a poor choice when compared to my favorite plan, high deductible Plan G. And here are my thoughts. Plan N subjects the insured to a deductible when an office visit or an emergency room visit happens. Now, these are minor considerations and a pretty good trade-off for the premium savings that Plan N has over Plan G. Slightly more concerning is the lack of protection from Part B excess charges, which can be levied in certain situations. If a medical services provider does not accept Medicare assignment, they may charge an additional 15% of the Medicare-approved Part B charges. Some states forbid this practice, but others allow it. Some states forbid this practice, is what I meant to say, but others allow it. This would be insignificant in an office visit charge, but much more of a problem in the event of an expensive course of treatment for a joint replacement, for instance. Plan N will not cover the 15% Part B excess charges as Plan G and high deductible Plan G do automatically. This means the insured with Plan N should do some pre-treatment research by asking his doctor whether or not there would be the likelihood of a Part B excess charge. And I put this last paragraph in red because I think it's the most important. It sums up my feelings about Plan N. In my view, the most important factor is premium stability over the long haul. I believe that holders of Plan N will suffer rate increases closely akin to those of Plan G, rather than the smaller and less frequent rate increases that high deductible Plan G will impose. So that's my opinion about Plan N. Randy looks confused, and I'm guessing that he has some editorialization to do. But if not, I'll just forge ahead. It's up to you, Randy. Did you want to offer your opinion on
No,
this?
I was just sitting here looking at
You
the
got to
time
actually turn your mic on.
Hello?
Oops. I can read lips. I never knew I could read lips.
You can't hear me now, huh?
Could be my headphones. Is it my headphones that are the problem?
Hello.
Yeah, there you go. It's my headphone cord. That damn thing shorts out all the time. I apologize.
So I was going to say that I was just sitting here listening to the description of Plan N and so forth and so on. But what was really on my mind is we're just about ready to run out of time. So we really need to get to going on that.
I didn't
And
set my timer.
I know, but I did.
Well,
I took
good for
care.
you.
I got your back. I got your back. So bottom line is I was mulling over whether to say, a very quick question of if you were against haggis, are you also against fruit pudding?
Well, if that is the pudding you described to me before we turned the mics on today, then I would be, yes, violently opposed to the existence of that pudding.
How about black pudding?
Well, I think that goes without saying, don't you?
And
I'm
then there, and then
I'm
there's white
very
pudding.
I'm very plebeian. I'll tell you what I like is chocolate pudding that I pour milk on, and that's what I recall from my childhood, and I ain't changing. That's going to
Well,
be my
there's
favorite pudding.
none of that happening over there, but I always get a smile on my face when everybody looks at a Scottish breakfast is a standard list of stuff.
Uh-huh.
You don't really pick and choose. You say, I want a Scottish breakfast, I want an Irish breakfast. You know what you're going to get. Okay, so bottom line, they always go, oh, you get black pudding in there. Oh, that sounds good. And I'm looking at them going, I don't
Yeah.
think you know what kind of pudding they're talking about, but go for it.
Yeah, don't ask too many questions about the food you get over there. But I'll tell you something. We started this conversation because good friends of mine just returned from a tour of Ireland. They had a great time and they thoroughly enjoyed everything. But I'm different than most people. I frankly have, as my daughter tells me, if it wasn't served to people in the 1950s, I'm not likely to enjoy it. And so I think the cuisine in Europe is probably not going to be to my liking as much as to some other people that are more uh,
Let
they take more
let us
chances.
let us say adventurous.
Adventurous, that's an excellent word for it. I did want to say this Plan N thing. If you're an insurance agent, you're pushing Plan N to people who are bitching about Plan G. Plan G rates go up, 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 up. They increase. Plan N rates will increase, maybe to a lesser extent, maybe not. My opinion is they'll increase almost as much as Plan G rates. But why does the insurance agent want the client to have Plan N? Because it's almost as expensive and his sales commission is going to be almost as large. If he buys or if he sells his client high deductible Plan G, his sales commission is going to be a pittance and his future earnings will be much smaller than they would be if his client purchased Plan G or Plan N. So I want my clients to be happy for the long haul, and this is why I always explain the benefits of high deductible Plan G. And so far, Randy is a successful guy. He doesn't care about the cost of his insurance. He just wants to make sure that his spousal unit is happy and that his bills are getting paid, and that's all that stuff's happening right now. So you have no complaints.
If the spousal unit is happy, Randy's happy.
There you go. We're all happy then.
Well, we ran out our time, and I think I need to close up shop here. So I want everybody to run to the kitchen or wherever you happen to be and grab a pencil. I'm going to give you an email address, which could be the most valuable email address you have in your book. Are you ready? dbj@mlmmailbag.com. That's the address you use to reach out to Doug any time of the day or night via email. dbj@mlmmailbag.com. Doug is licensed in every state of the union to help you make choices around your Medicare supplement planning. MedicareForTheLazyMan.com. That's the website. That's where it's all happening. I like it. I don't know why. Maybe I built it. I don't
It's your
know.
creation.
It's my creation. Amazon. Go to Amazon and give us some reviews. We really like the reviews. We like hearing what you have to say. And also, we're still trying to stay ahead of the travelogue people. We got to stay ahead of the travelogue people, and we do it because of that.
All you have to
Last
say is like Mark is just say good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That says it all, right?
It does. It does.
Pretty sure. Subscribe to our podcast, then you don't have to, mark it on your wall or anything to remember to tune in. But definitely, I think you would enjoy getting the notices that one more is published. Last but certainly not least, thank you. Thanks to every one of you for joining us today. That's exactly where we like to have you, listening to the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. And doggone it, nobody ever keeps track of the time. 32 and a half minutes. That's just about what you've spent today with Doug Jones, the insurance guy, originally from Oklahoma. And he should be back in Arizona, but he's not. He's living in the low ground out in Illinois. What did you say, about 453 feet above nothing?
More like 700, more like 700 above squishy ground because it's been raining here.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, because the mosquitoes then will follow in short order after the rain.
I heard, is it true in Illinois that they have mosquitoes that are so big they have landing lights on them?
I think that's Alaska.
Here
they have mosquitoes that are more intelligent than others. They're numerous and intelligent, and they seek out the blood of Englishmen. Where did that come from?
I think I've heard that in some sort of a rhyme. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
There you go. But that's why
we're not going to go ahead and finish the phrase. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
I smell the
blood of an Englishman. Yeah, that's because of the mosquitoes. That's why.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's why screen porches are a popular home, addition here. I've got a small screen porch, and that would protect me from all those mosquitoes. But anyway, I got to thank Randy because he always does such a wonderful job helping me with this podcast. I've got to thank the audience for being here again. I want you to come back for our next episode. Can't tell you exactly what day that call will go out, but very soon we'll be looking forward to having you join us for another recording session. Until then, bye-bye.